Hello, good evening, and welcome, gents. How are we, boys?
Good.
All good, thank you, Mike.
Good. How's your week been going, guys? Anything interesting to share?
Been very busy.
Very busy.
Yeah. I mean, productive.
Is there anything that can be shared legally, or do you want me to just quickly move on?
It's just a lot of hospital appointments. That's it.
The hospital appointments, fantastic. Well, not fantastic, but
Yeah.
No.
Well, a bit of downer, isn't it? Straight away.
Yeah, he's
sorry about that.
he's still in the mood, isn't he? Yeah.
We get to 55, unfortunately.
Nick, lighten the mood. Jesus.
Little roses.
Just work and fun at work. That's it.
Fun at work. Yourself, Anthony?
Same thing, mate. Just in between projects, trying to tie them all together. So
yeah, kind of the same for me, really. I've been kind of in and out, sort of homework in office, that kind of stuff. But spending a bit more time in the office than what I would like. But anyway, let's not get into that. So, we continue with our theme of running some weekly dilemmas, where we read out a dilemma, which I will do in due course, and then we will put it out as a foursome. Is that a right thing to say? Is that politically correct to say foursome?
You're saying it. Words today, mate. Really are.
Yeah. No, I've just said foursome. Is there anything in that? Can I say that?
Well, it just depends who's saying it and the motive behind it, isn't it? Really?
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'll say foursome. We'll put it out as a foursome, and then we'll exchange some thoughts, opinions, and ideas. Nick, you seem a bit puzzled with that.
No,
Nick.
I'm all right, Mike. I'm all right. You're not tripping me up anywhere near that statement.
Yeah. Also. All right, with that being said and done, I will read out our dilemma of the evening. All right, this is the situation or scenario. In a London household, the woman is a senior corporate lawyer earning over 150k a year. Her husband, a freelance musician and part-time music teacher, earns significantly less and manages most of the domestic responsibilities, which includes sort of childcare, cooking, cleaning, and they have 2 young children. Despite the income imbalance, the man holds traditional views about gender roles. He believes that as the husband and father, he should have the final say in major decisions, schooling, finances, discipline, and long-term planning. He sees himself as the head of the household, regardless of who brings in the money. She finds this very infuriating. Not only does she work longer hours and carry the financial weight, but she is also painfully aware of the gender pay gap in her industry. She's had to fight harder and work smarter and sacrifice more to reach her position, while watching male colleagues with less competence rise faster. To her, the idea that her husband still expects to lead the household feels like a betrayal of everything she's overcome. There's a bit of stuff going on in this household as well. He accuses her of emasculating him and turning the household into a boardroom. She fires back, "You want the authority of a man in charge, but you don't carry the burden. I know how to beat the gender pay gap to get there." And basically, what did you be? To complicate matters, she's considering hiring a nanny and a cleaner to free him up to find a real job. So, well, his part-time job's not a real job. He sees this as an attempt to erase the role entirely. So we've got some questions here. I know that was a bit of a lot to take in, but it is about roles and responsibilities within households, and whether finances play a part. Right. So, can traditional male authority survive in a household where the woman earns more, and that's for systemic, I should say, inequality to do so? Is his desire for the final say a form of toxic masculinity or a cultural belief rooted in identity and pride? Is she weaponizing her income to claim control, or simply demanding the respect she's been denied in the workplace? Does the gender pay gap justify her dominance at home, or is she creating new imbalance? So, roles and responsibilities. So, I want to throw out a question. Does what somebody does or the money that they earn dictate their role within a household in a relationship, male and female. Right. Do you know what I mean? It's a question.
Yeah.
You know.
Who you directing?
Let's. Wait, gonna go?
Why you should have said Nick straight away, man, off the bat. Come on, man.
Why?
All right, let me have it. He should know all about this sort of stuff.
He's the most caveman here, so you should
exactly.
Wow.
Who wants to go? Who's she's got that caveman look, mate. Who's gonna have a go? Who wants
Anthony,
to go?
back me up, will ya?
God, Anthony, you look like you're
Right, okay,
you're the
listen,
most balanced one.
I have been in that position, and I've been up and down, right? So there's been this situation where I was earning significant amount of money, and then there was a period of time when I wasn't, and then she was earning more money. Irrespective of gender roles, if you're bringing in a certain amount of money, it does, whether you like it or not, you are going to have that leaning towards, well, hold on, it's my money, right? That's not even to do with husband or wife. It's just a natural instinct. So if a guy says, I want to do an extension, and it's blah, 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 and I want it like this, I want it like that, and then if she turns around and says, yeah, but I wouldn't mind having this, if he says, no, we're doing it like that, if she can turn around and says, well, it's my money, we don't do it, then what happens? So you can have a situation where somebody has the money in, and it can be an awkward situation, because if you look at the roles of males and women and men and women, it's changed, because the kind of work that women do now wasn't there years and years ago. So now that they are able to do the kind of work that men were able to do, and they're catching up, they've caught up in that department, it's now all changed. That's why you're having this massive conflict between males and female roles in the household, because it's not like how it used to be. Our parents, father would go out, the mum would stay at home and look after kids, and the father would earn X amount of money, and your mum would maybe do part-time work, whatever. Now women are CEOs, they're running businesses, they're doing this and doing that. It's a complete different setup. So it is a bit difficult to sort of like say, this is the role of the male and female. But I'm not going to try, I can be controversial, but now you're seeing a lot of problems where a lot of women that actually have done all that are now saying, well, actually, was it really worth it? You know, because now I actually want somebody, I want a man, I want this. But the thing is, they've got this role, but now men can't have that same income anymore. They don't have those jobs where men, like a lot of trade jobs that used to be around, used to earn a lot of money, they're going down and down and down. So you kind of have the imbalance of how much money men make and women make is slightly different now. So I think it's a very difficult thing to balance in the house. And I also think it has to do with sort of cultures as well. It can have that as well. It's not that straightforward. No. Thank you, Anthony.
Thank you, Anthony. Appreciate that. Nick, what do you think?
The obvious thing is this is all relationship based, right? This is all down to how you two are communicating and being. So, for example, in this scenario here, he's got traditional values, is what he's saying. The traditional setup. Well, if he's got the traditional setup, I flipping hope that them two had that conversation before they had children and before they decided to set up shop together. So if they kind of knew that from the get-go, that actually this is, I see like the guy is saying, I see myself as the head of the house, and she was aware of that. Hopefully those things were ironed out before she climbed the corporate ladder, as it were. Well, if she's now expecting a change from him, that for me, I don't get. I don't understand that. These things should have been ironed out. I think within relationships in general, I think that needs to happen early doors. There needs to be those open, frank, honest, uncomfortable conversations at the beginning. This is how I see a relationship. This is how I see it. And of course, there's going to be change within that. I get that. But if you've got a basic idea of how you view that relationship, then yeah, before you set up shop, it just makes sense. Have those conversations. So now that he's in that role, if he still sees himself as the head of the house, then that's not going to go anywhere good. If she's then saying, well, actually, it's my money. I mean, is her money and the money that he's making, is this getting paid into the same account? Is she getting it into her account and he's getting his money into his account? Well, okay, what's going on there? There's so many dynamics within this, and I just think to myself, there needs to be a heavy conversation, quick, or this is going to turn left very quick, in my opinion. That's kind of my view on it. It's interesting because I totally. It's strange because I'm a bit perplexed. There's almost like a paradox here because I agree with most of what Anthony said, and yet I see it as I see all of this relationship stuff as very simple. I don't see relationships as complicated. It's very, very simple. This is how I see the world. This is how you see the world. This is how I see the relationship. This is how you see it. Can they merge? And if they can merge and you can both hold and maintain your views and your beliefs, great. Then get on with it. It's that, for me, it is that simple. I don't see it as that complicated. Is that what you meant by caveman win? then keep it to yourself then.
we don't want to speak about that.
Apologies. Yeah, apologies in advance.
We'll save that for another one.
Apologies
yes,
in
that's
advance.
another pod, Nick.
What, Mike?
I've got a bit of background noise, so that's why I'm trying to mute that out. But anyway,
that cat again.
Yeah.
No, it's yeah. He's a so and so. He's the right so and so. But well, yeah. Win. What do you think about what's going on in this household?
Look. This sounds like a mess to me already. I agree with Nick. Straight away off the bat, there's poor communication going on here. You know, before you even got into this relationship, you should have been discussing these things about finances, and you know how you feel about who's going to be the breadwinner and all that kind of stuff. I think that those are elementary conversations. You know what I mean? You want to know if you're going to have children, how many children you're going to have. You have 3 or da da da. Where are you going to live? We're going to have what school the kids are going to go to. These are the kind of conversations that you have before you even get into a serious relationship with somebody. So you can gauge that. So you can gauge if this is the kind of person that I want to have a long-term relationship. Is that this the lady sounds like she's gone on a bit of a power trip to me, and that's exactly how they don't want men to be. In terms of like I'm the head of the household. Let me, I'll tell you what to do, and I mean, you go, you do the washing and all that kind of nonsense. That's what a men's mentality is meant to be about. And why is she adopting that mentality if that's what most women don't like nowadays, right? That's what I say anyway. So I think that there is a double standard going on here from her point of view. I think maybe he does need to challenge his financial capabilities and maybe try and get a hit record so he can bring some millions in. That would help for sure. So that he can get the balance. Yeah, I mean, I think if you don't have to be like that, but I'm certainly I'm quite competitive, so I'll probably be on trying to compete with my missus with how much money she's getting. So that's just the way I am. I'll probably compete with my partner. I'll get earning that amount. Okay, I want to get very similar. How do I do that? That would probably be my mentality with regards to it. But I think that if they're going to have a long-term relationship, they need to sit down and have a conversation about the structure of this relationship and where they're going with it, because by the sounds of things, it's doomed for failure right about now, because there just seems that there's a bit of a power struggle, and two people have different ideas. Look, in some cultures, these things are ironed out early doors, like really early doors. This is my family structure. This is the way that we think. This is how we do things. Do you find that acceptable? And then they move on from there. You don't really just jump into a relationship and then all of a sudden you're doing things that one another don't really understand. I don't think that's quite wise, to be honest with you. So I agree with Anthony and Nick points of view. But we're living in a changing world, and each to their own. And if they can develop out of being ignorant towards one another, and they can learn to live with one another with, you know, the so-called, because she's talking about the gender pay gap, right? She was talking about that.
Professionally,
she's had to kind of like struggle to make ends meet. So I'm hoping that she's having those conversations with her partner, and he's understanding about that. Maybe he is, maybe he's not. Sounds like he's got old-fashioned views.
Yeah.
Oh, well, maybe she shouldn't have got with him if he had old-fashioned views. They don't want to have an argument about it now.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably my mentality towards it. I think that the communication is lifeblood of all relationships, and so long as they've kind of that they can communicate that now, then they might be all right. But it sounds like they need counselling right about now.
Yeah, I know a couple of them ones. I know good. Yeah. So with the fact that she's on 150k, would that be anything there for you guys?
No, that would be a problem for me.
No, I'm just saying. Wait, does she become more eligible?
I think that's great. It just depends on what she wants to do with the 150k.
I'm just saying, I didn't have anybody pick that up.
If she wants to be going Gucci and spending the 150k on Gucci, or you know what I mean, and the mortgages not get paid, and I've got to put my money towards the mortgage, then
I'm saying, would there be any compromise there? The fact that she's on 150k, would that be any compromise there for you?
What are you trying to insinuate here?
No, I'm just saying.
I would be happy. I would be very happy if my missus was earning 150k.
Yeah.
I'd be cool. That really would bother me.
Know,
in fact, like I said to you, it made me strive to want to do the same.
So just to throw the cat amongst the pigeons before you give your take, Mike. Talking about traditional stuff, and when I'm hearing that, I'm thinking about what Anthony said as well, because there's some parts of this that can become, if you want to, you can throw the cat in this sense. I've heard for years that the traditional sense where mums were staying at home and raising the kids, the amount of times I heard women say, you can't put a price on what I do. It's a 24-hour job. If we go to minimum wage, how much am I earning a year? Blah, 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 blah. All of that stuff. You bring that in, okay. Now what's going on? Do you know what? And I'm just saying, it's a different perspective.
No. The reason why I'm saying that's a sub. I was going to go.
Oh, I apologise.
No, that's a very good point. That's another supplementary part to this discussion, but excellent point. Because I don't think you can. Anyway, we'll talk about that and see what our views on that. What I think, and I think, you know, those foundational questions that you guys, or those foundational discussions that people should have in relationships. I don't know whether that happens at all, if any, sometimes, because if those foundations are not rock solid and you're not having those important, uncomfortable discussions about how you want to build your relationships and build a potential family, I think you're right. I think you're right. It's on rocky foundations, because I don't see a strategy there. And I'm going to say something which you said to me, Fastwin. Relationships, I think it's a bit clinical, really, but you've got to kind of approach them a bit business-like in a way, in terms of roles and responsibilities. Because I don't think it's ever going to be equal, because people have areas of expertise.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? Somebody might be better domestically. Somebody might be better. Do you know what I mean? So it should be approached almost business-like. Do you know what I mean? And respect for each other's role and responsibility. And I think in terms of the economic value to it all, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? If you're a team and you're a partnership, then you're a partnership, really. And that's something that would have been discussed at the embryonic stages of that relationship, or should have been, in my humble opinion.
I agree.
Really, yeah, because go on.
You'd want to be balanced, and you want to be evenly yoked. You know,
but I might not be that strong domestically.
Yeah, but then your partner might be.
That's right.
And that creates balance. And then if your partner's happy to be more domestic,
Exactly.
then that's definitely going to help you.
100%. 100%. But I think those conversations from the offset are not explored and spoken about, and there are no covenants, there are no agreements. So
I mean,
for me, it's a recipe for disaster.
Are these the kind of conversations have you had with your partners before?
I'll be honest with you. This is me being honest. No, I'm not. I never approached it in that way, and you know, and
that's why you ain't got one.
That's right.
Jeez.
No,
I'm looking though. I'm looking at Win.
I'm
and if anybody's interested, there's an email that you can.
You know what? Winnie, I'm
Samaritans.
blunt. I'm very, very blunt from the day one. I'm very, very. I just said I set the stall out straight. This is what I like. This is what I do. This
That's
is what
good.
I'm
That's
into.
good.
I've always been like that, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
then, if anything turns south, I can turn around and say, "Well, you knew what you're getting yourself in for." Likewise, if the person says the same thing, like if you get somebody that says, "I just do not want children," right? This is a dilemma. You do not want children. You're both on a normal wage, and all of a sudden, the male now earns a stupid amount of money, and now he turns around and says to his wife, "Well, look, I've got enough money. We don't have to worry about childcare. We can have kids." But she said, "No, I don't want to have money. I don't want to have kids." Right?
That was from the get-go, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but you see what I mean?
Yeah.
You can quite easily say, just because my circumstance have changed, maybe we should do this now, right? Because you didn't discuss that before, but your circumstances have changed so dramatically. You're in a position to actually think about something that wasn't on the cards. Then that's going back to what you were saying, Winnie. You know your relationship. If you know that you can move to another direction because you're quite agreeable because of the circumstances have changed, then you know you can do that. If the person is adamant, then you can't complain. You can't say, "But I own nothing." No, they didn't want children from the first place.
I think that's a major change of circumstance. That is really if you've had an agreement early doors that we're not having children.
I know a lot of people have done that. I know a lot of people have had that situation where they started off and then the guy or the woman has earned tons of money and then having another kid because they can afford to. Because they, in a way, maybe it wasn't like they didn't think they could do it, and now all of a sudden they do, and all of a sudden, like, well, why not?
Yeah, I know, but some people are really adamant they're not maternal, they don't want children.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Again, I think it's really the most important thing here is that you're communicating with one another.
Yeah.
So that 100%. We are constantly having, you know, like you would at work, you'd have a one-to-one or you have a meeting with your manager and discuss, you know, what direction we are going in.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people we don't have those conversations as the relationship's growing, and then that's how people end up growing apart.
Yeah.
Because you know, all of a sudden you get, I want to earn 100,000 a year, but I haven't spoken to my partner about it, and I've gone on this mission.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you've completely changed from the person that you are.
Yeah.
And your partner's like, well, who is this person now?
Yeah.
That I'm sharing a bed with right now. I don't know the person very well.
Yeah.
Because you haven't had those conversations, and you're not being,
absolutely.
You know, we're not going to say not truthful, but you're not, you know, sharing, so to speak. So it's really important to talk and communicate.
And I also think because there might be psychological bits going on at work for her in terms of how she feels she's being treated at work in terms of the pay and all the rest of it, because that perhaps may be I think to me it's an unresolved issue. I think clearly that's there's an overspill into the personal stuff. I think
into the relationship.
Well, yeah, because you know she thinks that that she's not being recognised for what she's doing at work financially or positionally, and then at home, I don't know whether that's having an impact on what's going on. There's a direct correlation between here and there.
Yeah, because he's coming up and he's demanding her to put the stuff in the washing machine, and she's like, "Nah, bro. I've been working like 80 hours this week.
Yeah,
I ain't doing it. You've been at home playing your guitar.
Yeah."
It's going to be an argument.
That's going to be a massive argument. Let's
be fair.
See, from the other side.
Last thing I'm going to say, because I want to bring you into it. I want your take on this as one thing. Do you remember if you heard a lot of guys that say the women come home and cook from work, even though the guys come home? They both come home from work and the wife cooks. The guy won't even cook.
Yeah.
You've heard that before, haven't you?
Yeah.
Right. So this is what I'm trying to say about you know, you've got to be balanced on things like that. I mean, we have a policy where whoever comes home first cooks, but then you've got the old fashioned way where I don't give a damn if I come home. I'm not doing anything till the wife comes home because I can't cook.
Well, that doesn't work nowadays. That doesn't.
No,
it's not the one.
Wanna...
But I still know women that will come home and cook, but they love cooking. They really enjoy it, so it's not even an issue. They won't bat an eyelid at it. It's not even a problem. They just come home, they've done a day's work and come home and they'll cook it and just get on. It's not even a problem. But I also know guys that do exactly the same as well. They come home and cook there because they love cooking.
I want to hear your take on this, Nick.
So just going back a second, when you guys were talking about like where she's been fighting for this through the gender pay gap and not being recognized for what she's doing, etc., and then coming home and that can cause problems. My bit is absolutely, and I get that, but is there a dropping of the ball here? Is he being recognized for what he's doing, or is what's going on in her work just mirroring at home, but now she's the governor almost, that she's not recognizing what he's doing? Because if he's doing the cooking, the cleaning, the children, etc., is that being recognized? She's not being recognized at work, and she's skinning about that. She's moaning about that, and absolutely, I get that. But then she's coming home. Is she recognizing his role? She recognizing his position? Do you get where I'm coming from? So that's the kind of the flip side of it. So my bit here is, was I taught all of those skills? No, I wouldn't say I was taught all of those skills. However, have I lived on my own and done all of those things? Of course, I've lived on my own and done all of those things. I'm capable of doing all those things. If you're doing something a certain way and your partner says, please don't do it because I like it done a certain way and this is how I like it done, I'm not arguing with that. I'm okay with that. If she says to me now, I want you to do the dishes instead of me because I'm doing the cook, cool, no problem. But I guarantee within a week or so she's going to be skinning saying, I don't like the way you do the dishes. Fine. So you do it.
A dishwasher then?
She doesn't like dishwashers because she can taste the chemicals at the end of it.
No, not a mechanical. Get a human dishwasher. Just hire a. I'm
not biting on that. I'm not responding to that at all. I'm not responding to that at all, Anthony. I think these two are...
I'm not normally like this. It's Michael's influence.
Nothing to do with me. No, that ain't nothing to do with me. I haven't hired anybody in it. Yes.
Good idea, though.
Yeah.
You can get a robot, you know?
Yeah. Yes, that's coming.
See? There we go.
Hang on a minute. A robot for what?
Where are we going with this?
Exactly.
I don't know, but I've got a supplementary question.
All right, cool.
Which is, and I'm conscious of time, which is emotional labour and caregiving truly equal to financial contribution, or is it just a comforting myth? So if somebody stays at home and doesn't work and does all the stuff around home, looks after the children, the whole 9 yards, whether that's male or female, is that equivalent? Should that be recognised as almost going to work, really?
100%. 100%. Imagine if you had to get someone to do all of those things. That costs money, isn't it? So 100% is worth a lot of money. Yeah. So, anyone staying at home and taking care of the house, I think that's a trade in itself. It's not even easy.
Yeah.
If you think it's easy, but you stay at home and tidy up all day long and do all that kind of stuff. It's not easy. Yeah. I mean, if you're diligent, and there's a lot of people that they're at home and they walk the dog and go down the gym and then come back and put their feet up and then do a little bit of dusting and then the day's done. I'm not talking about that. Walking around in tracksuit all day long, looking on man and all sorts of
experience or observations.
I see them.
Yeah.
But no, if you're genuinely at home, you've got like 2-3 kids that you got to take care of. You got to get their food ready. You got to get them up, got to get breakfast, and maybe get them up. Ball run and all that kind of stuff. That's hard work, man. That's no joke.
100%. 100%.
That's hard work.
Nick, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's super valuable, and it goes back to what you said. There's some people are skilled in certain areas. So, say for example, the emotional check-in within my relationship. I would say that's kind of part of where I thrive, for want of a better word. But my wife and I, we check in a couple of times a week. Just check in. How are you doing? What's going on? Let's clear. You know what I mean? If there are any issues, let's clear that. Let's talk about that. And I'm happy to bring that to the table a lot. So yeah, we're kind of, I fall short where I know I'm an absolute idiot in some areas. My wife thrives, and we work well because I think where she falls short, I thrive. So we kind of balance each other out somewhat, you know. So when it, again, I know we were saying tongue in cheek, but when it goes back to cooking or cleaning, okay, well then, what do I do then? Take away the stuff where I thrive and then go and wash a dish? No. Again, that's what I mean by going back to society and their views on stuff. You crack on. If I ever look at the situation going on in society right now, I'm not really taking my guidance from that cesspool right now. If I'm honest, I'm not taking my advice from that.
I get you.
Yeah.
I get you.
But yeah, it's absolutely.
I like that emotional check-in phrase. I like that. I really do like that.
It's important.
Really good. Really good. Anthony,
What's the question?
the question was, which I've forgotten, but I mean, basically, it's, you know, people that necessarily might stay at home and have, and you know, in terms of a relationship, the partner, male or female, who stays at home and may do all the domestic side of things, is that equally as important, and is it actually recognised and appreciated really societally?
I think it's it does have value. 100% does value. I'm going to be controversial.
Well, no.
It also depends on your conditions at home. Now, what I'm trying to say is, if you have a situation where the kids literally they go to nursery, that's it. Because sometimes the husband drop off the kids to nursery, right? And literally, some people have house cleaners. I'm being honest now. Some people have a house cleaner that comes in, does the house cleaning, right? And yet the other person still stays at home. Now, when you look at things like that, then you look at it and think, well, you know what? Come on, you've got a bit of
Housewives of Atlanta, them kind of vibes.
Yeah. But in all seriousness, I think no, it does have value. Of course, it has value.
Yeah,
100% has value.
Yeah.
It's a partnership, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. And I agree with you guys the same. I think it is a bit underappreciated, I think, to be honest. Do you know what I mean? Because that's a real hard gig, real hard slog. Do you know what I mean? Trying to maintain, you know, particularly if you've got multiple kids, a big house, this, that, the other. There's budgeting going on there. There's domestic cleaning going on there. There's multitasking. To be honest, so you know, for me, kudos to whoever, doesn't necessarily have to be a female, male or female, who undertakes that role. I think, it adds real value. But I think, again, going back to what we said, do you know what I mean? You know, well, this is my opinion at least anyway. It's never going to be 100. It's never going to be equal. Within a relationship, there's going to be areas of strength and areas of weakness. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And where I fall short on something, I'd like to think my better half would be able to supplement my deficiency in that area. And just like what you were saying, Nick, you know what I mean? I might have other skills that, you know, like the emotions or whatever that compensates for that. But it's never going to be, you know, well, I'm not going to micromanage and put it all in a spreadsheet and see what number comes up. I don't think that's going to be realistic. Do you know what I mean? But if we communicate along the way, do you know what I mean, we have those conversations early doors. Do you know what I mean, that's what I'm driving, and that's what you're hitting. And do you know what I mean? I think it's got every chance of succeeding. I believe every chance.
I love that. And just to kind of finish on what you've just said there, Mike, there's a woman out there, famous, probably everyone's heard of her, Brené Brown. And Brené Brown was saying within her relationship with her husband, what she'll do is when they both come into the house, they'll both give each other a number. They'll both give themselves a number. And what that is kind of, I've got the energy and the capacity right now and the emotions and I'm at a 2. And then the other one will say, cool, then I'll carry the 8 just to get them both to a 10. So where they know one is falling short, the other one will step in. The next day it could be the other way around. But they try and balance each other out the best they can, if that makes sense. And that's the way that her and her husband live their life. And we don't do that exactly, but we will check in every day. How are you doing? How are you feeling? What's going on? Is there anything bugging you? Anything that's going on? And it goes back to that check. It's really important. And exactly what Anthony said. It does. It definitely depends on how that household is run as a collective. How is it run?
Yeah.
If I'm going out to work and slogging my backside off, and my partner is getting up at 1 p.m. watching Jeremy Kyle, if it's still on, I don't know, watching that stuff, coming home and then saying to me, order a takeaway.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like you said, that can't happen. That can't happen.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
Both ways around,
Brilliant.
by the way. Both ways around, it can't happen.
Yeah. Okay. Conscious of time, because I think we're getting to that magic number of the evening. So just to summarise this and wrap this up, in terms, just want to get final thoughts all the way around, if you guys don't mind. In terms of a relationship, does financial earning, is that a deciding factor in terms of decision making and roles and responsibilities within a relationship? Just a quick synopsis, if you like. Nick?
Shouldn't be, but it is. Done.
Right? Shouldn't be, but it is.
I think in
Just
society.
being realistic.
I think it shouldn't be, but I think it is.
How do we stop it being?
I'm gonna go caveman, so I can't really answer that. I have no idea because I don't live in that environment. I don't live in that world. If I'm in that situation, I will try and navigate and work out how I'm going to deal with that at that moment. But with the relationship that I have now, if Guan Yu got a job for 150 grand, we are going to do well. We are going to do well financially. Simple.
Right. Okay. Anthony?
Same, really. It's 2025 now. If you'd asked this question about 20 years ago, it'd have been a completely different answer, right? Because lifestyles are different, finances were different, opportunities were different. But now we don't live in that. So in a way, the old-fashioned way of thinking, unfortunately, is clashing with the modern day of thinking. And to go back to what Nick said, in an utopia world, it would be nice to have that kind of nice balance, but unfortunately, that's not what we have now.
Excellent. Win?
So are you saying that if I'm the highest earner in the home, I dictate terms? Is that what you're saying?
Well, potentially, that could be somebody's idea, or philosophy, or whatever you want to call it.
And is that right? Is that what you're asking?
That's the question. Yeah.
I no. I say it's probably no. It's right. I mean, not it's right. That is the way it is. That's the way it is. Shouldn't be. But I do believe that there is a lot of people, male and female, who earn a lot of money, but they don't use that as a tool to unbalance their relationship. Their money's their money. It belongs to them, not just her or him. And that money does not necessarily dictate how they communicate and how they deal with one another. I think if you have a loving relationship, that finances, the money that you earn, it doesn't really mean nothing. You're just putting that into a kitty with a lot of money, and then everyone's kind of like eating off of it. So I think that's how it should be. But I do believe, like what Nick's saying, in a lot of relationship, 80%, the more money you earn, the more authority you have.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I agree with that.
Okay. Yeah. I'm of the same mindset. Unfortunately, it does happen. And I think it may happen because because we've spoken about this, it's that communication piece. Some of those conversations about what is this relationship, how do we want it to be? Do you know what I mean? All of those things, all of those good things, maybe hasn't happened. Maybe may have happened but it might be a change of circumstance. Those conversations could have happened, but then somebody starts to earn significantly more, and then their kind of whole mindset and things like that change. But in the ideal world, if you have those conversations early doors, it will carry you through. And when you get to situations of uncertainty, you've got a covenant to fall back on.
Yes.
I think.
But there's a lot of cultures that ensure that they have those conversations beforehand. They've even planned.
Oh yeah.
They've even planned
Yeah.
where they're going to get married, how many children they're going to have.
Yes.
Where the children are going to go to school.
Yes.
And where we're eventually going to end up. That's how some people's.
Well, in some cultures, the families will have it. The two families. Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I suppose the more confidential talk there is, the better off your relationship's going to be.
Yeah.
I strongly believe in that. Communication is key, 100%. But if you just go in there willy nilly and nobody don't know what one another's doing, then of course there's going to be problems, isn't it? There's going to be issues.
Breaking name. That's your breaking name. Willy nilly.
Gonna get that tattooed on my jacket at the back.
Brilliant. Thank you, guys. Another cracking pod. I think it's a nice little space for us to kind of say peace and love and blessings, and I'll see you guys on the other side.
Peace and love.